From the VR Proud Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunk with the very latest on the tropics, and it has been one wild day. 3 named storms, and it all started out with Wilfred early this morning, which, again, we thought that was going to be that disturbance in the southern Gulf. Well, not the case, not so fast. Then we moved to subtropical storm Alpha. That was just off the coast of Portugal. And then we finally got to Beta. Again, here's the big picture out there. Right now, we're going to look at the Atlantic Basin, and you can see that we've got 3 storms out there right now. The potential for even more out there as we're watching 2 more areas of concern out there. That's what the National Hurricane Center is kind of watching. But you see, first of all, we had Teddy out there. Now it's already a Category 4 storm. It's going to move just to the east of Bermuda as a major hurricane, it looks like, and then maybe even hit portions of Canada. As we had earlier, it's Tropical Storm Wilfred, pretty unorganized at this hour, not really expected to be much. In fact, a very short life, as it should be done by the end of the weekend. And obviously Alpha, it started out as a subtropical system just before landfall, made landfall in Portugal, and then slid into Spain, and now it is a post-tropical system. But again, this is the one that we're watching closely because it's obviously closer to home. Right now, we're keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Beta. Latest advisory at 10 p.m. We had winds at 60 miles per hour. How about that? Earlier in the day, it was sitting at about 40, so we already jumped, again, 20 miles per hour with this system, heading north-northeast at 12 miles per hour, so we've already increased the forward speed with this system. However, as you noticed, a lot of those thunderstorms on the northern side of this system, a little bit north of that center of circulation. That circulation is still a little bit elongated. Main reason is because it's running into a little bit of shear. It's also one of the reasons why this system, because of that trough kind of digging into the area just to the west of this system, it's the reason why this system is kind of moving a little bit quicker. However, we are still expecting it to make a westward turn. Even though it looks like it's coming right at us, even though we're starting to see some of the early effects of it, we're starting to see some light showers from Beta. Now in the capital area, some sprinkles mainly along the coast, some heavier pockets out there. As you see here, by the time we get to, I would say Saturday morning, probably midday on Saturday, it should start to make more of a westward turn. By the time we get to Sunday morning, system could already be up to a Category 1 storm as it floats towards the coast of Texas. By the time we get to about Monday, we're looking at winds up to about 80 miles per hour, and then it starts to veer back towards Louisiana. And you can see here it kind of picks up a little bit of speed. By Wednesday evening, it could be somewhere right along the Texas-Louisiana line, and that's not good because, again, that's the last place because of all those residents in the Lake Charles area. That's the last thing they need is more rainfall, because I think this is going to be another slow mover, and it's also going to be a rainmaker. However, I do want to point, you can see here, looking at the big picture, notice how wide this cone is, just kind of showing you the uncertainty in the overall path once we make it past 4 to 5 days. So you can see there's a lot of wiggle room out there, and that's why we need to pay attention over the weekend, because as soon as you step back into your work week, we could be looking at a Category 1 storm somewhere in the western or northern Gulf at this point. You can see models still all agreeing on a westward turn at some point as it sits underneath that ridge, but then after that, again, it could kind of float into Texas and die, or it could float over open waters and move right back towards us. So here's what we've got going on, obviously. You can see right here that overall trough kind of digging through, kind of shearing the system a little bit, but overall, this area right here is that ridge, which is going to kind of slide just above the system and drive it directly towards the west. But if you notice off in the distance here, another deep trough, that is going to kind of dig down deep and hopefully it's going to most likely steer this system towards the northeast. Again, hopefully it does it later. Again, a lot of things can kind of develop as a system, because again, you need to see how deep and how strong that system is as it arrives. Now, I do want to show you our model takes the track a little bit further north before shifting further west. You can see overall that we're still seeing a lot of those storms moving into your Saturday and even Sunday, kind of battering the coast for a little bit. And what I also want to point out is, again, like many other systems that we saw earlier this year, it's pretty lopsided, meaning those thunderstorms kind of extend well away from the center. And in fact, if that's the case, then we could be dealing with showers through much of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and maybe all the way through Thursday of next week. And then eventually the system takes more of a northwestern turn. Here's another model, and same scenario. You can see how this system, those bands extend well into Louisiana, starting out over the weekend and lasting through much of next week. So again, even though this system may not be a big wind threat, it could still potentially be a rain threat. And the concern here is you could easily shift those rain amounts a little bit further inland. For us, we're probably talking about 2 to 4, but along the coast, maybe 3 to 6, 10 plus in the central Gulf. But again, that could all shift in depending on how slow the system moves as it turns west, and really how far away from the center are these actual bands, because if we see those bands starting out like we are today, that could continue through the rest of the week, and then those rain totals are going to really start to add up, and potentially maybe even see, again, we may even have a tornadic threat out there. So the key is we are still in the peak of hurricane season. We've got a lot of season left, and as you see here, I just want to give you some background and some history. Today we crossed off Wilfred, Alpha, and Beta. Okay, last time we had Beta, and it was the only time we had Beta, was 2005. We all remember that year. That was Katrina, Rita, and Wilma. Well, we hit Beta October 26, okay? We are in the middle of September. We're well ahead of schedule. That year ended up with Zeta, and as you see, we only have to have 4 more storms just to even tie that. Potentially 5 would set the new record. And again, we've got a long season. When we in 2005 hit Zeta, that was almost the last day of 2005. That was December 30th. So just think about that. We are, again, well ahead of schedule, and it's a very active pattern as we're going to continue to watch quite a few more areas out there. So the key over the weekend is pay attention, make sure you're watching the latest reports out there, make sure you're also following trusted information. There's a lot of bogus stuff going on across the interwebs out there through Facebook and social media. Again, find a trusted source, something that you rely on and you trust, obviously. And stick with us because, again, we will have the very latest information throughout this weekend and as we head into early next week. And you can get all that information by going to brproud.com or downloading our app at BR Proud. Same thing, it's BR Proud is the app, and we'll have multiple newscasts throughout the weekend. But otherwise, stay safe, have a good weekend, and again, stick with us.